Recording in progress.
Whatever I taught yesterday, I'll ask some questions, give me answer. You're learning first topic JDBC. You're learning first topic JDBC. JDBC full form Java Database Connectivity. JDBC definition. It is a specification for developing database applications with the Java programming language. Once again, it is a specification for developing database applications with Java programming language. What is database application? An application that communicates with database is called as database application. What is application? Application is a program in which
database application is a front end or back end? Database application. Database is back end. Can we see database?
Recording in progress.
yes, application we can see, database we cannot see. Okay, database application is a client or server. Database application is a client. Database is a server. What is client? A client is a software that sends a request to server to get the response. What is server? A server is a software, process the request, it receives the request, process the request, constructs the response and sends the response back to a client. So client and servers are softwares. Okay. Now application and database, if you want to connect, one software required. That software is called driver software. Okay. Application and database communication purpose, one language required. That language is called SQL. SQL full form structured query language. Oracle is a application or database or language? Database. SQL is a application or database or language? Language. SQL prompt is a application or database or language? Application. SQL prompt is a application. Oracle is a database. These two communicating with SQL. Okay. MySQL is a database or language? Database. Okay. All databases can understand only one language, that is SQL. Okay. Oracle can understand SQL. MySQL can understand SQL. SQL Server can understand SQL. So all databases can understand only one language, that is SQL. So database cannot understand Java. Database can understand only SQL. So don't get confused. MySQL is a database. SQL is a language. SQL prompt is a application. SQL prompt is an application. SQL is a language, and MySQL is a database. Okay, confusion will be there, but I given 100% clarity. Now, application and database, if you want to connect, application and database, if you want to connect, one software required. That software is called driver. How many categories of drivers are there? 2 categories of drivers. What are those? ODBC drivers, JDBC drivers. Starting before Java, only ODBC was there. Before Java, okay. Non-Java applications and databases, they connected with ODBC drivers. ODBC full form, Open Database Connectivity. ODBC drivers, one driver or many drivers? Many drivers. All ODBC drivers are the part of ODBC tool. Okay. These all I covered. See, yesterday one diagram I given. Yesterday one diagram I given, this diagram. See here, non-Java applications and databases, they connected with ODBC drivers. Okay. See, non-Java, other than Java, those applications and databases, they connected with ODBC. See, what they did is, non-Java, other than Java application, they connected to ODBC. They selected ODBC driver, they connected to that particular database. Like that, connection established, they performed operations. When Java came and exists in the market, they developed applications by using Java programming language. Okay, when Java came and exists in the market, they developed applications with Java programming language. Same style they connected, but here connection failed. To solve this problem, one JDBC driver prepared. So JDBC driver introduced. What this driver will do, it converts Java instruction into ODBC understandable format. Like this, they prepared. So what this JDBC driver will do, it translates Java application into ODBC understandable format. Okay, like this JDBC driver concept introduced. First of all, what you do is, just you write this diagram also. This diagram once again write. Like this write it. I'll give a description. You written yesterday, non-Java ODBC. Now Java ODBC write it. Because drivers are most important in JDBC. That's what, with the diagrammatically you'll get a more clarity. Write this diagram. Like this only write it. I'll give a description. Just a Java application, ODBC tool. Like this write it. Don't modify yesterday diagram. You write separate. Okay, don't modify. You write separate. I'll give a description. You should have a patience to learn subject. Okay? Write separate. Separate diagram, write it. Don't do modification in yesterday diagram. That is continue like that only. Here, just you write Java application. Java application, ODBC tool, ODBC drivers, databases. Like this, as it is, write it. So there are many ODBC drivers. There are many ODBC drivers. Is it over? So there are many databases, there are many ODBC drivers. All ODBC drivers are the part of ODBC tool. Okay. ODBC was there before Java only. Then non-Java ODBC and database they connected. When Java came, same style they connected, but connection failed. That notes I'll give. See, for Oracle database, it is a ODBC driver for Oracle. This driver only for Oracle. This driver only for MySQL. This driver only for DB2. This driver only for Derby. Like that, every database separate driver was there. Separate driver software. Okay. Now, just note down. Here, connection failed. Here, connection failed between Java application and ODBC. Between Java applications and ODBC, because ODBC drivers were exist before Java technology. Your connection failed between Java application and ODBC because ODBC drivers were exist before Java technology. Here, Java application instructions. Here, Java application instructions are Java application instructions are ODBC not understood. Here Java application instructions are ODBC not understood. To solve this problem, JDBC drivers were introduced. To solve this problem, JDBC drivers were introduced. To solve this problem, JDBC drivers were introduced. There are 4 types of JDBC drivers. There are 4 types of JDBC drivers. First one, type 1 driver. Type 1 driver, JDBC, ODBC bridge driver. Second one, type 2 driver, JDBC native API driver. Third one, type 3 driver, JDBC network protocol driver. Fourth one, type 4 driver, JDBC 100% pure Java driver. There are 4 types of JDBC drivers. First one, type 1 driver. Second one, type 2 driver, type 3 driver, type 4 driver. Type 1 driver called JDBC ODBC bridge driver. Type 2 driver called JDBC native API driver. Type 3 driver, JDBC network protocol driver. Type 4 driver, JDBC 100% pure Java driver. There are 4 types of JDBC drivers. Type 1 driver, type 2 driver, type 3 driver, type 4 driver. JDBC ODBC bridge driver, JDBC native API driver, JDBC network protocol driver, JDBC 100% pure Java driver. Here, as compared to these names, these numbers only important. Why? I'll explain. As compared to these names, number only important. 1, 2, 3, 4 number only important. In interview also, what are the advantages of type 1 driver? What are the advantages of disadvantages of type 1 driver? What is the functionality of type 1 driver? Like that only they are asking. 1, 2, 3, 4 number important. Why? I'll explain. See, first of all, non-Java applications and databases, they connected with ODBC. Same style, when Java came, they connected Java application with ODBC. Connection failed because this ODBC was there before Java technology. There was no compatibility between Java and ODBC. Whatever Java application passing instruction, ODBC not understood. That's what connection failed. To solve this problem, JDBC drivers came. To solve this problem, JDBC drivers came. But there are 4 types of JDBC drivers. There are 4 types of JDBC drivers. 4 types are there, but there are 2 different ways are there. Next, write it. There are 2 ways to connect Java application and database. There are 2 ways to connect Java application and database. First one, by using JDBC and ODBC drivers. Second one, by using JDBC drivers only. There are 2 ways to connect Java application and database. There are 2 ways to connect Java application and database. First one, by using JDBC and ODBC drivers. Second one, by using JDBC drivers only. There are 2 ways to connect Java application and database. First one, by using JDBC and ODBC drivers. Second one, by using JDBC drivers only. So, with only JDBC also possible. With the JDBC and ODBC also possible. But with only ODBC not possible. Okay? Now, I'll explain. See, online students, if any doubts are there, end of the session I'll clarify your doubts. Listen the class and write the notes. Now here, Java application and database. If you want to connect, two different ways possible. Two different ways. Here, one is JDBC driver and ODBC driver. One more, only JDBC driver. Say Java application. If the application developed in Java, that is called Java application. Okay. Now database is on software. Here, first they connected with ODBC drivers, but connection failed. To solve that problem, JDBC driver came. Okay. Like this, they connected. Like this, they connected. Like this, they connected. Later, this communication is very slow because Java application instruction, whatever is passing, that instruction converted into ODBC understandable with JDBC driver and passed to database. So communication becomes slow. To solve that problem, new JDBC drivers came. New JDBC drivers. And new JDBC driver directly communicates with database. No conversion. This type came. So as compared to that one, this is fast. But here I given there are two ways to connect Java application and database. There are two ways to connect Java application and database. Java application and database, if you want to connect, first way by using JDBC and ODBC drivers. This JDBC driver, ODBC driver. And Java application and database, second way by using JDBC driver. Only JDBC also possible. But just now I given four types of JDBC drivers. This is type 1 JDBC. It is type 1. It is type 1 driver. This is type 2 driver, type 4 driver. Type 4, type 2. Type 2 also like this only. Type 4 also like this only. But type 3. Type 3 also if I add, you'll get a confusion. Present 1, 2, 4. Now, this is type 1 driver. This is type 2 or type 4 driver. Like this, we connected. Write this one. This diagram also noted. Now I'll ask some questions. Give me answer. Is it completed? Now connecting application and database, one software required. That software is called driver. How many categories of drivers are there? How many? Two categories. What are those? ODBC drivers, JDBC drivers. ODBC drivers, is it one driver or many drivers? Many drivers. ODBC drivers, many drivers. Okay. Is it possible to connect Java application and database with only ODBC drivers? No. For that, JDBC driver required. How many types of JDBC drivers are there? 4 types of JDBC driver. Which type JDBC driver required? Type 1 driver required. Type 1 driver required. Now, if you want to use only JDBC drivers without ODBC, which type JDBC driver required? Type 2 or type 4. Okay. Now, can we connect Java application and database with the type 1 driver without using ODBC driver? No. If you want to use ODBC, which type JDBC required? Type 1 required. If you want to use only JDBC, which type JDBC required? Type 2 or type 4? Type 2 or type 4. Okay. So, if you want to use ODBC, compulsory type 1 JDBC required. If you want to use type 1 JDBC, compulsory ODBC required. Okay, question different angle I am asking, but answers are there only. In the diagram only answers are there. Okay. So, connecting Java application and database, it is not possible with only ODBC. To solve that problem, type 1 came. First type 1 came. But type 1 communication very slow. That is the reason type 1 driver outdated. New type 2, type 3, type 4 drivers introduced. After getting type 2 driver, type 1 driver outdated. So type 1 driver program also not possible to write now. If you write also you cannot compile, because Java 7, up to Java 7 only possible that program. Java 20 version the driver is not there. So Java 8 only the driver removed. So writing program possible, but you cannot compile. That library removed. 2014 only type 1 driver outdated. Type 1 driver outdated. Long back only. 9 years back only type 1 driver outdated. So type 1 driver program no need to learn. Type 2, type 3, type 4 you have to learn. Type 1 no need. Okay. Now type 1 JDBC driver, if you want to use, compulsory ODBC required. Okay. If you want to use type 1 JDBC driver, compulsory ODBC required. If you want to use ODBC, compulsory type 1 JDBC only required. If you are using type 2 or type 4, we don't require ODBC. You cannot use ODBC. Okay. Now, if you think which one is better, type 1 better or type 2 better? Type 2 better. Okay. Now, here only one driver. Here 2 drivers required. Next. Note. Type 1 driver removed from Java 8 version onwards. Type 1 driver removed from Java 8 version onwards. Type 1 driver removed from Java 8 version onwards. Type 1 driver removed from Java 8 version onwards. Java 8 onwards, that is removed. Okay. Now present latest version Java 20. Java 20 going on. Okay. Java 8 only this is removed. So here you observe, if you open Java version history in a Google, if you type, see Java version history, all versions list it will display. First site only Wikipedia site comes. Here you observe JDK 1.0, 1.1, 1.2 like that. Present version Java SC 20. Latest version just 1 week back released. Okay, 21st March 2023 Java 20 came. Now you observe here Java 8 only removed. Now up to Java 7 type 1 driver possible. Now even type 1 driver it is not possible to use. That software also removed. Whatever pink color is there, no, that version software is not possible to download. So here pink color old version, yellow color old version still maintained, green color pista color latest version, blue color future release. So Java 21 is a future release. This is September 2023. It is going to come within 6 months. Java 20 latest version. But pink color is there, no, that software also not possible to download. But yellow color is there, no, still we can download. Yellow color software, you observe, for yellow color LTS is there, long time support. That is the reason still possible. They are giving support long time. So LTS, long time. Next, after getting 21, 20 also they'll remove link. Because 21 is long time support. LTS. See, wherever LTS is there, still it is there. So here up to 7 there is no LTS. 8 LTS. Software companies will use only long time support software. Now present, which version is long time support latest one? Companies are using 17 only. Still 18 no one using, 19 no one using, 20 they won't use. 21 they'll use again. Because 21 long time support. But already developed projects 11, 8 still it is there. Long time support. They are giving support. Software people, Sun Microsystem company, Oracle Corporation, they are giving support. That is the reason still old version, already developed project, they are continuing with old projects, old version only. But those who are going to develop new, they will use 17 version at present. Latest projects, they'll use 17. In future, what will happen? For this support also, it is going to end. See, this support when it is going to end? Commercial 2022, non-commercial December 2030. After 30, this software also they'll remove. 8 also will not be there. Then only 11 will be there. 11 also already they given. 11 also will not be there. 2026 only. So in future 17 will be there. 17 also will be not, directly 21 comes. So after 5-6 years, what will happen? 8, 11, 17 all will be removed. Only 21 will be there in future. So like that they given that information. Commercial use support, non-commercial use support. How many years they are going to provide, that support they given. So that's what software companies, what they will do, whichever support version support is there, that version they'll select. Okay. Present, those who are going to develop projects in Java, now they are selecting 17th version. In future 21 comes, then 21 they'll start that time. But 18, 19, 20 not in use. 18, 20, 21, 19, 18, 19, 20 not in use. Now they are not using. Only testing purpose you can use. Real time project they will not use. Okay. For project purpose definitely they will select 17. Already developed projects they are continuing with 11 only, 8 only. So 8, 11, 17, 20 possible to download. But type 1 driver removed from Java 8 version onwards. 8 version, 8 onwards not there. That's what it is not possible to compile the program if you write also. Okay. Now about these drivers, it is not completed. Now I given JDBC definition. What is JDBC definition? Not full form. Definition. It is a specification for developing database applications with Java programming language. That is I said. Specification word I didn't explain. Now I'll explain. Next, write it. Specification. Drivers not completed. After specification definition, drivers will continue. It is a set of rules and guidelines It is a set of rules and guidelines that are used to develop applications and environments. It is a set of rules and guidelines that are used to develop applications and environments. It is a set of rules and guidelines that are used to develop applications and environments. It is a set of rules and guidelines that are used to develop applications and environments. See, specification nothing but one document. In that document, rules will be there, guidelines will be there. With that rules and guidelines, developing applications possible, developing environments possible. For example, you observe. For understanding, first one small general example I'll take. See, it is Java programming language. Here, it is also specification. Java programming language specification also is there. Rules and guidelines will be there. Okay, rules and guidelines will be there. Now, here so many rules, so many guidelines are present in Java programming language specification. So actually, you are learning Java. These Java, if it books, thousands of Java books are there in the market. Okay, thousands of tutorials are there in internet. You take any tutorial, any book, you take that book backside, again references books will be there. References books will be there, no? Like again reference book, if you take, some other references books will be there again. And that book reference also, foreign books references will be there. Foreign books reference also, Sun Microsoft tutorial reference will be there. For tutorials also one reference will be there, that is specification. So at the top of the hierarchy, specification will be there. Seeing this specification, rules and guidelines, they written some authors tutorials. Seeing those tutorials, some author they written foreign books. And seeing that foreign books, Indian authors they written some more books. Like that, many comes one by one. But at last, top of the hierarchy, specification will be there. See, if you open Google, if you type Java language specification, if you type Java language specification, see, Java language specification, its own book is there, and it is, see, they written 5 members team written, James Gosling, Java developer also. See here, this is nothing but total Java language specification. You observe only that it contents. Now it is not complete specification. Hyperlinks are there. You observe. So only contents, only these many lines is there. These many lines of content. Only Java language. See, still scroll bar here only. You observe. So these many lines only content. Specification, table of contents. If we click again next page, see, if we click next page, again next, see, like this, some thousands of pages are there. Seeing this document, see, this document written by 5 members team. In that James Gosling also is there, you observe. Okay, Java developer. Based on this document, some authors they'll write tutorials in Sun Microsoft tutorial, Oracle tutorial, these all. Based on those tutorials, some authors they'll write books, foreign books. Based on foreign books, Indian author they'll write some more books, like that. So, at last root language specification, Java language specification. This specification contains rules and guidelines will be there. For example, already know. For example, instance variable. For writing instance variable, some rules and guidelines are there. No? Now, core Java, you studied variables. How many types of variables are there? 3 types. What are those? Instance variables, class variables, local variables. Okay. What is instance variable? Member of a class. What is class variable? Static member of a class. What is local variable? Inside a method. Okay. When memory allocated to instance variable? Whenever object is created. When memory allocated to class variable? Whenever class is loaded. When memory allocated to local variable? Whenever method is called. Instance variable in which memory block stored? Heap area. Class variable? Method area. Local variable? Stack area. Stack area. Here, if I create 100 objects, how many copies of instance will be created? How many? 100 copies created. If I create 100 objects, how many copies of class variable? One copy of class variable. How many ways to access instance variable? 2 ways. What are those? Object reference. How many ways to access class variable? 4 ways. What are those? Directly, class name, object reference. How many ways are not recommended? 2 ways. What are those? Object reference. When we have to use directly? If it is present in the same class. When we have to use class name? If it is present in another class. Okay. See, how many ways to access local variable? 1 way. That is directly. See, when we have to use instance variable in Java programming, different values are there. When we have to use class variable in Java programming, same value. When we have to use local variable to perform the task. Okay. Instance variable, class variable, local variable. Tomorrow onwards, class is in ground floor, room number 1. Tomorrow onwards, class in ground floor, room number 1. Okay, same time. See, 3 types of variable. If I give some variable names, can you select properly? Now, employee number, which variable required? Give me answer. Instance variable. Employee name, instance variable. Employee address, instance variable. Company name, class variable. Okay. Student roll number, instance variable. Student name, student address, college name, class variable. University name, class variable. C language marks, instance variable. C++ marks, instance variable. Java marks, total marks, local variable. Like that you can select now. See, life of the variable, instance variable, object. Life of class variable, class. Life of local variable, method. Scope of local variable, method. Life of scope of instance variable, based on access modifiers, public, private, protected, default. That is same. Here, like this, so many rules and guidelines are there in object-oriented programming. Whatever you studied in core Java, that is nothing but Java language specification. There are so many rules, there are so many guidelines are there. Even every statement must be terminated with semicolon. That is also one rule. But if the value is different, select instance variable. If the value is same, select class variable. That is called guidelines. Rule different, guideline different. See, now all employee numbers same will be there or different will be there? Different. Then which variable you have to select? Instance variable. By mistake, if you select class variable, by mistake, if you select class variable, your program compiled or not compiled? Compiled. It is syntactically correct. That is wrong output comes, but program will be compiled. No, that is called guideline. Suppose every statement must be terminated with semicolon. If you don't write semicolon, will it compile? No, that is called rule. Rule compulsory you have to follow. Guideline if you don't follow also compiles, but wrong output comes. So here Java programming language specification contains so many rules and guidelines. So many rules and guidelines. Suppose now one rule I'll select. Suppose specification. Every statement must be terminated with semicolon. This is one rule. Seeing the specification rules and guidelines, Java compiler developed. Java compiler. Okay. Seeing the specification rules and guidelines, Java compiler developed. Seeing these rules and guidelines, you are writing Java program. You are writing Java program. So actually what you are doing, you are not seeing Java's specification rules and guidelines. Suppose whatever I given notes, with that notes you are writing Java program. But I am giving a notes through books only I studied. The books, reference book, reference, at last specification. That means at last you are getting data from specification only, no? Rules and guidelines you are getting from specification only. See. Seeing the specification rules and guidelines, Java compiler already designed. Java compiler already designed. See the specification rules and guidelines, Java compiler designed. Okay. See the specification rules and guidelines, Java compiler designed. See in the specification rules and guidelines, you are writing Java program. You are writing Java program. Then your program, if you compile under Java compiler, it will compile. Suppose here, if you don't follow these rules and guidelines, if you write a program, if you compile, will it compile? No. So specification contains rules and guidelines. Seeing that rules and guidelines, Java compiler software already designed by Sun Microsystem company, Oracle Corporation company. They designed. Now what you are going to write? You are going to write Java program based on that rules and guidelines. And then only your Java program you can compile under Java compiler. Otherwise Java compiler will show error. Okay. See, for example, one rule. Every statement must be terminated with semicolon. It's one rule. Every statement must be terminated with semicolon. Suppose one programmer, instead of writing semicolon, he wants to write colon. Is it possible? What he will think is semicolon, colon only little bit different. I want to write colon only. Suppose he is thinking like that. Semicolon, colon, little bit different appears, no? Just here comma type will be there, here full stop type will be there. That's it. Now, one programmer, he doesn't want to follow Sun Microsystem rules. He doesn't want to follow Sun Microsystem rules and guidelines. Instead of semicolon, he wants to write colon only. Is it possible? No. Compulsory you have to follow rules and guidelines. There are only two options. Either you develop compiler or you follow rules and guidelines. Okay? Can you develop compiler? No. Then follow rules and guidelines. There is no other option. Okay? So every programmer must follow rules and guidelines. Then only it is possible to compile. Okay? So every programmer must to follow these rules and guidelines to write this program. But I don't want to follow, I don't want to listen means it is not possible. Here are only two options. Either you develop compiler or follow rules and guidelines. Developing compiler not possible. Then follow rules and guidelines. That's it. Okay. So these specification rules and guidelines you must to follow to write Java program. Then only your Java program compiled under compiler software. Because this Java compiler will listen whatever Sun Microsystem said. Whatever you said, that will not listen. Whatever Sun Microsystem said, that will listen. Because that is designed by Java Sun Microsystem. That is developed by Sun Microsystem. According to rules and guidelines developed. That's what you must to follow. Okay? These all you already did. You followed. Your programs compiled. And you didn't follow means compiler shows error. These all you have studied already. Already you studied. Okay? See. Every statement must be terminated with semicolon. Other than semicolon, any symbol you are writing? No, semicolon you are write. That is you followed, no? Your rules and guidelines you followed. You written programs, you compiled, you got a compilation successfully also. Sometimes errors also you may got it. But those errors, if you don't follow, then only got it. That means you must to follow. These all already you did. But for developing database application purpose also rules are there. Guidelines are there. That is called JDBC specification. So whatever you studied specification, language specification. But with that language, you can build applications. Database application, if you want to build, some other rules and guidelines are there. That is available in JDBC specification. So it is another specification. It is another specification. If you open Google, if you type, see, JDBC specification, if you type here, JDBC specification, if you type here, see JDBC 4.1 specification. This is, you observe, JDBC 4.1 specification, latest version 4.1. Now here rules and guidelines are there. See, rules and guidelines about JDBC. Rules and guidelines, so many are there. These rules and guidelines you must follow. These rules and guidelines. See, so many rules and guidelines already prepared. Some thousands of pages rules and guidelines will be there. Okay. Here, these rules and guidelines. Seeing these rules and guidelines, driver software already developed. So JDBC specification contains rules and guidelines. Seeing these rules and guidelines, driver software, JDBC driver software already developed. It is JDBC driver developed. JDBC driver developed. Here you are going to develop JDBC application, database application. Database application. This application with helping of driver you will run. Then it will execute. You don't want to follow these rules and guidelines to develop this application means driver cannot understand. So according to JDBC specification rules and guidelines, you have to write database application. Okay. But which language? Java. Which specification? JDBC. Language is Java. Specification is JDBC. You have to follow. Then your application you can run. Then driver can understand. But if you write your own style, driver cannot understand. Errors comes. That is specification. Okay. Now, load up. JDBC specification JDBC specification used by vendors to develop JDBC drivers. JDBC specification used by vendors to develop JDBC drivers. JDBC specification used by Java programmers to develop database applications. JDBC specification used by Java programmers to develop database applications. JDBC specification used by vendors to develop JDBC drivers. JDBC specification used by Java programmers to develop database applications. See, specification contains rules, guidelines. Using that rules and guidelines, companies, vendors nothing but companies, they develop drivers. Seeing that rules and guidelines, you are going to develop database applications. So how to develop driver? For that also rules and guidelines required. How to develop database application? For that also rules and guidelines required. But what you are going to learn? How to develop driver or how to develop database application? How to develop database application, learn. After getting a job, if the company requires, then learn how to develop driver also. Present not required. Okay? How to develop driver also required further. Suppose if you get a job in Oracle Corporation, you required, that is also. Because new driver, they'll develop with Oracle company people only, like that. So if you get a job in product-based company, Sun Microsystem, Oracle Corporation, that type of companies, if you get a job, that is also you have to develop. That is after getting 10-20 years experience, not beginning. Okay? So at the time required. At the time you can learn. Present not required. But in the specification, that is also will be there. That's what specification if you open, you may not understand also all concepts. Even about instance variable, if you open 10-20 pages will be there in that specification. Identifiers, if you open 3-4 pages are there about identifiers. In specification, very depth they given, very depth. Okay, identifiers only 4 rules will be there, but you open in the specification identifiers 2-3 pages will be there about identifiers. That much information they given, very depth. Okay. Now that is present not required to you because your target is you want to get a job in MNC. Okay. Like that, if you learn what will happen, JDBC also 4-5 months you can learn. Solid's also 4-5 months you can learn. Advanced Java 2-3 years also you can learn. It is not going to end. Subject is very vast. Okay. So your target is you want to get a job in MNC. For getting job, whatever JDBC required, that is learn enough. Okay. After getting job again, if you want to learn, you can learn later. Present your target is you want to get a job. On that focus. Okay. Now, suppose if you want to do research in Java, learn years also not going to end. Suppose your target is research. You want to do research in Java. Then core Java 2 years also learn, it is not going to end. Okay. Now, is it clear what exactly JDBC now? JDBC is a specification which contains rules and guidelines. What purpose? To develop database applications. You are going to develop database application. For developing one language required, no? Which language? Java language. That is Java. Okay. So what you are going to learn? Language already learned in core Java class. Up to exception handling, it is called language. after exception handling application part. Okay. Now, core Java, whatever you studied up to exception handling, that is language. With that language, you can build applications. Application part starts here. Here, first is application, database application. That is you are going to learn. Okay. Now, about drivers required. These drivers are developed. See in the specification only. Okay. That's what drivers information required. Now, first type 1 driver. Note. First one more point write it. Note. All JDBC drivers are classes in Java. All JDBC drivers are classes in Java. All JDBC drivers are classes in Java. Now, type 1 JDBC driver I'll give. Type 1 driver. JDBC, ODBC, bridge driver. Type 1 driver, JDBC, ODBC, bridge driver. Type 1 driver, JDBC, ODBC, bridge driver. Now, note driver class name. sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc driver. Note driver class name. sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc driver. That is driver class name. This is package. It is sub-package. It is class. Package, sub-package, class. Sun is a package. JDBC is a sub-package. ODBC is a sub-package. JDBC, ODBC driver is a class. So write clearly. Here J capital, O capital, D capital. No space between words. That is class name. Each word first letter capital, no? Package, sub-package, class. Package, sub-package, class. So, you studied java.lang, java.util, java.io, java.net, java.package. You studied, no? Like that, not only Java. In core Java, only Java dot you learn. But here, Java dot, Java X dot, Sun dot, Oracle dot, Jakarta dot, so many comes. You studied in core Java classes only Java dot. Okay? But here, Sun dot. Sun also package. Sun Microsystem Company. That's what they given package name Sun. And Sun dot JDBC dot ODBC dot JDBC ODBC driver. Okay? It is a package. These are sub package. These are class. So type 1 driver. It is nothing but just one class. Okay? Next. Driver vendor. Sun Microsystems. Driver vendor, Sun Microsystems. Driver vendor, Sun Microsystems. So, this driver developed by Sun Microsystem Company. Okay. Next, type 1 driver developed in C language. 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 Now, is it over? See, first what is happened, like this introduced. Non-Java database they connected with ODBC. After a few days, Java came. When Java came and exists in the market, what is happened? Java application and database they connected. Here connection failed. To solve this problem only, type 1 JDBC driver came. Type 1 JDBC driver. Okay, to solve this problem only, type 1 JDBC drivers came. So type 1 JDBC driver introduced. What this driver is doing? Converting Java instructions to ODBC understandable format. This is type 1 driver diagram. Note down. Now again write it. With the diagrams only you get a clarity. That's what write it again. Like this write it now. Type 1 JDBC driver. See the diagram again, you answer. Type 1 JDBC drivers, one driver or many drivers? How many drivers? One driver. ODBC drivers? Many drivers. So now if you want to change the database, you need to change ODBC driver. No need to change type 1 driver. No need to change type 1 driver. Okay? So in a Java program, type 1 driver, that is architecture I'll give. Architecture diagram also I'll give. Architecture I'll explain. After this architecture I'll explain. So ODBC drivers are many drivers. This driver only for Oracle. This driver only for MySQL. Like that every database separate driver. But this driver is common to all databases. This any database, this driver is same. Because Java application instruction ODBC not understood. That is the reason this driver came. What this driver will do, it convert Java application into ODBC understandable format. Okay? Is it over? So, see in this diagram you can give answer how many type 1 JDBC drivers are there? One or many? One. How many ODBC driver? Many. Okay? ODBC drivers many. Type 1 JDBC driver one only. Now, note on type 1 driver functionality. It converts Java calls into ODBC calls. Like this also you can write. Otherwise, it converts Java instructions into ODBC understandable format. It converts Java instructions into ODBC understandable format. It converts Java calls into ODBC calls, or it converts Java instructions into ODBC understandable format. Next, type 1 driver architecture. Type 1 driver architecture. Type 1 driver architecture. See, Java application instruction converted into ODBC understandable format. That is type 1 driver. Type 1 driver architecture diagram I'll give. This program not required, no need to learn. Okay? Because if you will write also, you cannot compile. Java 7 software required. Java 7. Java 7 software not there. It is not possible to download, not possible to install. Okay, download link also removed. Already downloaded means you can use. Now, type 1 driver architecture. It is Java application. See, Java application, nothing but Java program. In that program, some code will be there. That code is called application code. Already given one point. All JDBC drivers are classes in Java. All JDBC drivers are classes in Java, you know. Type 1 driver, nothing but one Java class. Type 1 driver, JDBC, ODBC, bridge driver. That class name is sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc ODBC driver. That is, we are placing in Java program only. Your application code will interact with driver. This driver will interact with ODBC software. ODBC tool, its own software. This ODBC tool will interact with ODBC driver. ODBC driver will interact with database. This is called type 1 driver architecture. Note. Online students, if any doubts are there, end of the session I'll clarify. Java application which contains application code, type 1 driver, ODBC tool, ODBC driver, database. Now, what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages also I'll explain. Type 2 onwards programs I'll teach. Is it over? Say Java application. Java application contains some code. That is you are going to see. That program I'll show you with type 2 driver. Now type 1 driver program also, type 2 driver program also, application code is same. Driver only different. Driver class different. But writing JDBC program is same. Writing JDBC program for Oracle also, MySQL also, any database, it will be same. Only driver class is different. Okay. Java application contains some code. That code is called application code. That code uses type 1 JDBC driver. That driver connected to ODBC tool. It is one software. In this software, ODBC driver that is connected to database. Okay. See here. Suppose you'll write a Java program in Notepad. After that, that program connected to this software. This software is called ODBC. This software is called ODBC. In this software, one driver, for example, Microsoft Oracle ODBC driver for Oracle. This is driver, ODBC driver. This is connected to Oracle database. So our Java program connected to this tool. This tool connected to Microsoft ODBC driver. Microsoft this one, ODBC driver. This driver connected to Oracle database. That type. So here we are going to connect together. Now what are the advantages, disadvantages I'll give. Next write it. Advantages of type 1 driver. Advantages of type 1 driver. Advantages of type 1 driver. Say Java program connected to Oracle database with type 1 JDBC driver and ODBC driver for Oracle connected. you want to change the database. Is it required to change JDBC type 1 driver? No. Is it required to change ODBC driver? You have seen diagrams. That's what diagrams. Now, how many type 1 JDBC drivers are there? One or many? One. How many ODBC driver? You want to change the database. What are the drivers you have to change? ODBC driver you have to change. JDBC driver no need to change. That is advantage only, no? So write it. Only one driver that supports all ODBC enabled databases. Only one driver that supports all ODBC enabled databases. Only one driver that supports all ODBC enabled databases. Next, disadvantages of type 1 driver. Next, disadvantages of type 1 driver. See, advantages of type 1 driver. Only one driver that supports all ODBC enabled databases. If you want to change the database, ODBC driver you have to change. JDBC driver no need to change. That is advantage. Disadvantage. Now you already studied how many ways are there to connect Java application and database. How many ways? 2 ways. What are those? By using JDBC and ODBC drivers. By using JDBC driver. Which one is best? By using JDBC driver. That means this is disadvantage only, no? Type 1, it will communication very slow. So, write it. Performance overhead. Since Java calls should go through performance overhead, since Java calls should go through via JDBC and ODBC drivers. Performance overhead, since Java calls should go through via JDBC and ODBC drivers. Performance point of view is poor because between Java and database 2 drivers are there. JDBC driver, ODBC driver. Then performance point of view poor. Performance overhead, since Java calls should go through via JDBC and ODBC drivers. Suppose, one more thing, here, 5 computers are there. 5 computers. 5 computers connected together. 5 computers connected together. Oracle software installed in this computer. Java program you written in this computer. This program, if you want to connect to this computer database with a type 1 driver, possible. But ODBC software you have to install here. Suppose this computer wants to connect. Here also ODBC you have to install. This computer required. Here also ODBC you have to install. So ODBC in every computer you have to install. That is burden to administrator. That is disadvantage. Write it. Database client software. ODBC software needs to be installed on local system. Database client software needs to be installed on local system. That means every computer you have to install. See, 200 computers are there. One system database installed. 199 systems ODBC you have to install. Then only communication possible. Otherwise, communication not possible. This is a burden to administrator. Every computer has to install software. Okay. Type 1 driver developed in which language? C language. C language is platform dependent or independent? This is platform dependent. Okay. It is platform dependent. It is platform dependent. Advantages are more or disadvantages are more? That's what outdated. That's what it is outdated. Program no need to learn. Tomorrow type 2 driver. Tomorrow onwards programs. Tomorrow first program you are going to see. Core Java object oriented programming. You prepare and come. Tomorrow first program you are going to see. For that object oriented programming knowledge required. Okay. Tomorrow class is in ground floor. Ground floor room number 1. Okay. Tomorrow we'll see continuation. 1 minute. Those who missed starting session, you can take a snap. I'll give video links. 1 minute. Those who missed you can take a snap.
Google Classroom.
Online student, just wait 2 minutes. I'll clarify your doubts. Online student, just wait 2 minutes. I'll clarify your doubts.